Hello, 13th jurors, and thank you for reporting to jury duty. Brandy Churchwell here, and I am here to give you your recap on everything you missed from the evil stepmom, Letecia Stauch murder trial. This is day 9. This is the day we've been waiting for. Harley takes the So day 9 starts out with just some housekeeping things. Letecia is moved from the end of the defense table to the timeout chair in between her lawyers. Now, if you missed day 8, you missed Letecia giving some well-known finger gestures to some witnesses and possibly even some of Gannon's family. So the judge addressed it at the end of the week, and he warned her about her behavior, and he started this week by laying down the law. So no more hiding at the end of the table behind her hair curtain and making hand gestures. She has now been moved to a central location where she can be closely monitored. Next up, the judge addresses juror number 12. Now, if you missed it, we found out at the end of day 8 that juror number 12 saw a witness on the stand that she had met a couple of times through a family member of hers that went to her church. The defense wanted the juror dismissed, and the judge agreed. So juror number 12, grab your dozen eggs. Thank you for your service. You are dismissed. Finally, the last witness of day 8 returns to the stand to just answer a couple more questions, basically just about the crime scene. So Miss Brooke Bell gets back on the stand. She tells us about some prescription bottles that she collected from the Stauch home. She tells us that she didn't find any shell casings during the search. She finishes up pretty quickly, and we are now on to the witness that we have all been waiting for. We have spent the last 2 weeks hearing all about Letecia's daughter, Harley Hunt. And today is the day that she finally takes the stand. As soon as she sits down, she's already crying and as she says good morning. And my heart just breaks for her for the situation that she's been put in. I cannot even imagine how hard this is on anybody, much less somebody, as young as her. And having already lost her dad and now this going on with her mom, my heart breaks for her. She said that the last time that she saw her mom was actually the day that she was arrested, and she cries as the DA shows her a picture of Gannon. So sad. One of the saddest things that I heard from Harley was that she has lived for years not knowing the truth about how her father died. Apparently, Letecia lied about something, but Letecia told her that someone came in and robbed him and killed him. But she learned last week that he actually died of an overdose. And what's even worse, she learned this on the internet. That's how she learned the truth about her father and that she had been lied to for years about it. It's so difficult. I can't even imagine how that must have felt for her. And oh, my heart goes out to this child. Harley tells us that Letecia wanted to move around pretty frequently. Although she had to swap schools often, Harley was actually able to graduate high school early, and she's a nursing student now. So despite her mom, she's doing pretty well for herself, it seems. Now, we hear about the dynamics of their blended family, and Harley said that with the custody of Gannon and Lena changing and then all of the moving around, the year that they lived in Colorado before all of this happened was the one and only year that they ever all lived together as a family unit. Now, according to Harley, it was overall pretty great. She said that her mom and Al did fight a lot, which often led to her trying to shield her younger step siblings from it. She said that they would come in and she would, turn up the volume and try to kind of protect them from it. She also said that her mom would try to drag her into fights and, obviously she didn't want to get involved, but her mom would try to pull her in and get her to kind of side with her. So we hear a little bit about the dynamics of the family and how that was difficult on her. So the DA brings out a long list of texts between Harley and Letecia. Now, he goes over the conversation where Letecia is texting her to tell her about the whole candle and the fire and that whole situation. But Harley said that she never knew Gannon to use candles before. Letecia said something to her about how he must have knocked it over in his sleep unless he was awake and lied. Obviously, this is another version of the stories that we've heard. And Letecia also told Harley that when all of that was going on, that Gannon was out in the street screaming that he hated his life, which Harley, again, said doesn't sound anything like Gannon. Now, Harley remembers going downstairs to the basement and the windows were open. She said probably because of the smoke smell down there. She said that it was really cold. Now, keep in mind, this is January in Colorado. So she said that because of that, she slept upstairs and Gannon was the only one who actually slept downstairs. She said that when her mom was getting ready to go to bed, they actually went downstairs. Her mom wanted her to go down there with her to tell Gannon good night, which she said is also weird because it's something that she never did. That's not something she had ever told her to go do with her before. The next conversation was the following day. So this is now January 27th. And apparently, even though Harley spent the night upstairs with her mom, she did not see her when she woke up. Now, according to Harley, this exchange also had a lot of kind of weirdness going on. Letecia sends Harley screenshots of her conversation with Al about Gannon and the bath salts, which, again, is something she had never done. She got a text from Gannon's phone saying that her mom left her phone at home. She said, again, something that's not normal. And Harley said that later that day, she got home and her mom told her to take Lena to go to the dollar store for some cleaning products. And she had to take care of that spot downstairs. Now, she does remember her mom telling her that Gannon wasn't home, but that he was supposed to be home at a certain time so they could go to supper. When he didn't come home, Harley said that she made a comment about, well, I guess he didn't want sushi. And they drove to a friend's house, knocked on the door, and when he wasn't there, her mom seemed to get worried. For the next couple of hours, Harley said that Letecia waited at home in case Gannon showed up, while Harley herself drove around looking for him. They texted back and forth, and Letecia let Harley know that she was just still at home, waiting on him to come home. Harley remembered when the police arrived, Letecia had her look into Gannon's book bag where she found a Swisher Sweet cigar. She said that it was weird, though, because it was right there when you opened up his folder. It was kind of out in the open. So she said this was yet another thing that felt really weird and off to her about that day because it was very unlike Gannon, and she didn't understand why a kid would have this, but also why it would just be so open in the book bag. Now, the next morning, it is now January 28th, and this is the day that Al was going to be flying back into Colorado. Harley said that she woke up to some text from her mom that she had sent about 6:21 a.m. telling her, do not open the door for anybody. She said that she was going to see if anyone was looking for Gannon. Now, there was some communication back and forth about things like Facebook posts and the neighbor's ring footage and some stuff like that. And Harley said that Letecia told her to pull her car in the garage, which she just thought was because there were people coming over and maybe they needed somewhere to park, or maybe she didn't want them to see her car there, but it wasn't that big of a deal to her. It was a little bit later in the afternoon when Harley said that her mom seemed to have kind of basically disappeared. Al was calling her and even began calling Harley, trying to have her get in touch with Letecia. She was basically unaccounted for from about 3:45 in the afternoon until 11:30 that night. At 4:26, Harley texted Letecia asking her where she was. And for the next couple hours, they go back and forth. And Letecia won't tell her where she is. And she turned off her location. So she's telling Harley that the police are up to something and she needs to get an attorney. I mean, she's sounding, according to Harley, kind of paranoid about things. Now, we do know during this time that Letecia is at the airport because of the time card that was stamped for the short-term parking, but the rest of that time is unaccounted for. Letecia's texts to Harley are insinuating that she's at the police department because of the things she's saying about them trying to set her up and how they're treating her crappy and they're hiding something. But we know that she wasn't at the police department that day. She didn't actually go there until the next day. So this whole time, Letecia is telling Harley not to open the door for anyone. And she even said that she had to text her mom to ask if she could open the door for pizza because she didn't want her mom to see that she opened the door on the ring footage and to get in trouble for opening the door for pizza. So later on, around 7 that evening, detectives showed up and Harley is still telling her mom what's going on. And Letecia is still telling her, do not answer the door. Now, they're outside for a few hours, but Harley thinks that they're gone when she finally decides to leave. So she opens the garage door. It's about 10 o'clock, and the detectives are actually standing there. So now she has to talk to them. Letecia is still telling her, don't tell them anything. And she told her to leave and don't tell them where she's going. Now, Letecia asks if anyone asked about her, and she asks what Landon is doing. And she tells Harley that she's being set up, so she has to get an attorney, yada, yada, yada. At 10:23, Letecia finally tells Harley where to meet her. It's at a hotel that's right across the street from Harley's work, which is on the other side of town. Now, Harley drove there, but Letecia wasn't there when she got there. She said that she sat in the parking lot and waited for what felt like a really long time. And we don't know what time Letecia actually showed up, but we do know that Harley was still making phone calls at about 11:30 asking where she was. When she finally arrived, she said that the whole plan was that she was meeting her there because they were going to be staying at the hotel. But when her mom finally showed up, I guess that plan changed because all she did was leave her car at the hotel, and she got in Harley's car and told her that they were going home. So that brings us to the next day, January 29th. Now, Harley wakes up and she has to go to work. So she's going to leave, and her mom rode with her because her car was, of course, right across the street from Harley's work at the hotel. She said that they dropped off the car keys at the airport, and then they headed over toward her work. She said that when she got there, Letecia sat in her car for a bit. She said that she needed a moment to herself for a while, I guess. Later on, Harley got a phone call that her mom was in the hospital, so she left work early to go pick her up. She said that when she first got there, she wasn't able to go in because of her age, so she left to go pick up her friend Janine, who you'll remember we heard testimony from earlier in the trial. They headed back toward the hospital to pick Letecia up, but Harley said that she got a phone call from her mom to pick her up at Taco Bell instead. She said that she had gotten a ride from some random person leaving the hospital, and so now she was going to be at Taco Bell instead. Now, Harley said that her mom got in the car and she didn't have her phone, which we know is because they took it during the police interview. And she said that her mom was just rambling on, which if you've watched any bit of this trial, I know it's not hard for you to imagine Letecia rambling on and on and on and on and on. So Letecia had Harley drive through the hospital parking garage to see if her car was still there. I guess she was worried that police were going to take it. And then they left there and went to Janine's, where she spent. So the next day was January 30th, and Harley and Letecia, this is the date that they went to Marshall's, and you'll remember the testimony about the police showing up. They handcuffed both of them. They confiscated Harley's car and her phone. Now, Harley gave her account of this, and she said that she was inside the store alone when police came in, and they did handcuff her. She said that when she went outside that she saw her mom, and her mom was hysterical, and she was screaming, and she was telling her, do not answer anything. And she was screaming at the officers, that's my daughter. So she said it was a very escalated situation. After that, she said that they walked to another one of the stores and called the family that was going to be coming in today so that they could come actually pick them up, because now they are up there without a ride. They ended up going to the extended stay hotel, and they rented the Nissan Altima and the van. Now, on January 31st, we know that they took the rental van and they went to the house to move their things out. When they were leaving, that's when Letecia did that bizarre interview where she's facing away from the camera and she's talking about herself the entire time. And her main message is nothing for Gannon. It's just that when, he comes home, everybody owes her an apology. It's all about Letecia. So they got back to the hotel, and Harley said that Letecia left for dog food and was gone for a really long time. Now, you'll remember this is the same testimony that her brother gave about the whole dog food situation where she disappeared, and he even said that she was gone for so long that he thought it was strange and said something to his wife about it. Harley said that when she got back, she asked her mom, where have you been? What took so long? And she said that she didn't have her GPS, so she got lost for hours getting dog food. So it's February 1st now, and Harley said that they swapped rental vans because the other one was in a family member's name. And this began their trip across country. She said that her mom asked her, where do you want to live? And the destination, the things they talked about changed multiple times. It went from maybe Texas to Myrtle Beach to Florida, and then back to South Carolina or Myrtle Beach. She said that they basically just kind of traveled along the country and were staying in different hotels. Now they were using a corporate code to get a discount at the hotels, and then they would check in with just one of them at a time with one dog, so that they only had to pay for the rate for one dog, and then the other would come in after they had gotten into the hotel room and gotten it open. She said that they didn't sit down to eat anywhere during this entire time. All of the food that they ate was either drive-thrus or food delivery services. Now, the DA asked her flat out when they got to the hotel where that's right by the bridge where Gannon's body was found. He flat out asked her, "Did you help your mom throw a suitcase over the bridge?" And she said, "No. I think she wasn't there, that she was at the hotel when all of that happened." Now, the DA wraps up by asking Harley if she had ever seen her mom not know who Gannon was. Have you ever seen her not know who Al was? Have you seen her being treated for mental illness or in a psychiatric hospital? Is there ever any evidence of insanity? Have you ever heard her refer to herself as Jasmine, like the princess wanting to go to Saudi Arabia? Have you ever heard her call herself Victoria or Christina or Harmony or Little Lucia or Maria Sanchez and speak with a Spanish accent? And she said, no. So based on a few times when the defense seemed like they were going to try to throw Harley under the bus the last couple of weeks, I should not have been surprised with the cross-examination, but I do try to have faith in humanity, so I was hoping for better. Now, let me be clear. I do know that defense attorneys have to do their job, but attacking this young lady on the stand did not, in my view as a 13th juror, make their client seem more insane. It just made them look like jerks. Now, I may not be a lawyer, but my field of study is psychology, and that little stunt did not help them at all. It started out okay. They were asking Harley if she remembered her mom lying on the floor crying while she was married to her dad. They talked about Letecia being suicidal and how Harley had to track her down in a hospital because of this. But Harley said that she thought that she was told that she was in the hospital because Letecia had ovarian cancer. Now, again, as a cancer survivor, I feel rage when people lie about this, because you will never understand the trauma that comes from everything that is surrounded in this, emotionally, physically. I still have damage to my body. I will never live another normal day in my life because of my cancer. So to fake that for emotional manipulation, especially with your daughter, shame on you. Shame on you. I like this woman less and less as this trial goes on. They ask her about her mom wrecking her Jeep because she saw a vision of Harley's dead dad. Harley said, no, she wrecked my Jeep because she ran off the road. They bring up the suicide again, and this time it was a time where she was apparently suicidal in Alaska. And she said that Letecia told her, come eat with me. It will be my last meal because I already took them. Again, emotional manipulation in its truest, most disgusting form. The next day, she just acted like nothing ever happened. Now, the part that got my blood really boiling was when the defense told Harley that she manipulates the truth for her own benefit. Harley is a nursing student, and her aunt was apparently providing her with a car to get to classes, but she took it away from her, making it hard for her to get to class. Now, Harley started a GoFundMe where she was asking for help, and in the paragraph on there, she said that she lost both parents when she was 17 years old, so she didn't have any financial support, and she's having to do it on her own, and she's asking for help. Now, the defense attorney said that this was misleading because the way that she worded it made it sound like both of her parents died when she was 17. Harley said, no, she lost her dad before that, her biological dad. And then at 17, she lost her mom and her stepdad. And she had no parents that were available to help. Now, Letecia did not give a damn about Harley or anyone else but herself. So yes, Harley did lose both of her parents the day that Letecia was arrested, and she did lose her stepdad because her mom killed her brother. So she lost both parents that she had in that moment when she was 17 years old. And she did lose her biological dad before that and didn't even know the truth about that until recently because of the gross manipulation from this attorney's client. It's been a minute since I wanted to come through a screen and tell an attorney to sit down and shut up, but this one had me boiling. On redirect, Harley cries as she explains that her mom left her with nothing. She was just thrown out into the world with nothing. And once again, big surprise, Letecia is unemotional. So that does it for day 9 in the trial of Letecia Stauch, the horrible, evil, miserable stepmom who murdered her 11-year-old stepson and spent her whole life manipulating and emotionally damaging her daughter in order to fill whatever ridiculous needs she herself needed in the moment. Not a fan. Now, I don't usually quite get so emotional with these. I don't get so emotionally invested in them, but it's the kids, man. The ones with the kids, they get me. So I appreciate y'all reporting for jury duty, and please keep helping me out with all of the likes and the subscribes and the recommendations and all of the 5-star ratings. I appreciate that so, so, so much. If you're looking to catch any of this trial live, head on over to my buddy Recovery Addict's channel. He has the best live stream of this trial around. And you can also join in live with the 13th juror as we are listening to the audio released daily in the trial of Lori Vallow. There's a live chat. We chat about everything that we're hearing, and that is available in the evenings on my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/@BrandyChurchwell. Now, once again, thank you for your support, and thank you for reporting to jury duty, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.